The interview we did today, because for some entertainment company or whatever, like he did it really well. Like we went into this the green room at the venue, and he started talking to us. We were talking to him for like 10, 15 minutes. Like, oh yeah, the interview started.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, that's perfect because like he was a super cool guy. We didn't even think about it. We just like had a normal conversation.
Make it feel natural. Yeah,
that's cool.
It was super natural. It was like
it's not really like all right, now we're starting.
And
Wait,
go.
so
be interesting.
Oh my god, you guys have been recording us since we walked in the door, haven't you?
Yeah.
Right.
We kind of do that a little bit.
We're going right now.
Yeah, we just did it. We're podcasting.
Mind is blown.
So we got Impart here, which is Jimmy, co-host Jim is in this band.
Recently joined. Like a month or maybe more.
Yeah, a couple months ago, I think. Or well,
I've lost all
a
track
short
of
time ago.
We should introduce you two. There's 3 other members in the band, but our bass player Skylar couldn't be here because he's hanging out with his lovely girlfriend who I've never met. So
She seems neat.
She seems neat. But we have Jared Johnson and Alec Stockman.
Welcome.
Hello.
Yes.
How
are you going to be doing this with you guys?
Yeah, glad to have you guys. We finally figured out how to get this thing scheduled.
Yeah.
So sorry. It's just been wild for like the last 2 months or so.
Oh yeah, for everyone.
I think everyone is just in that same zone of slightly overworked, but just kind of trucking through it.
It also it's gotten to a point too where like it's kind of like a band sort of too, where you kind of like you have to keep yourself interested. So it's kind of I had to like give myself a little pep talk, and I've had like a couple people here and there that I've ran into, like not a bunch of people or anything, but like a couple friends and stuff that are like, hey, when's the next podcast? And I'm like, I don't know, it's been busy, and like it's kind of like on the back burner. Like it's hard to like it's
hard if you don't have like a set schedule.
Yeah,
for it.
It's
like it's like when you're like forming a band and everything, and you're talking to when should we practice? When should we practice? Versus like now it's we practice Sunday afternoons.
Right. Yeah, it's just a matter of like what time, like 2 or 3, and we usually but we know it's Sunday afternoon for sure.
Yeah, we had a pretty good streak of like Saturday nights.
Yeah. For your credit, you were really good at and still are about like scheduling these out like way ahead of time, so we know and we can prep for it.
That's just the hard part is like getting our schedules, which our schedules, Jimmy and I's schedule works pretty well usually, but like everyone else, like people have full-time jobs, people have like kids, like
when people work different kinds of hours too, like
exactly,
like a server, or like an overnight worker or something.
So yeah, that's tough. And then, but yeah, I've had like a couple people come to me and they're like, I don't really ever hear from people about it. So, but a couple people have been like, "Where is it?" Like, just so you know, like I like wait for those to like pop up.
Yeah,
that's got to be really cool.
That's cool. But I'm like, fuck, man, I'm sorry. Like,
I guess that's the cool thing about a podcast is, the thing you have to like, it's a show, so you have to be somewhat consistent. But it's not like a TV show where you don't have to be like the exact same every
single week or
every single week. So you have a little bit more flexibility, but consistency is still good with anything.
Yeah, definitely. It's so I'm like fired back up now. I feel like it's
just kind of have a little bit of a rest.
But that's kind of the fun thing. That's like the fun thing about the Joe Rogan is he's going to do it every week, but you don't know when. Yeah, and you just kind of get random notifications like, oh, this guy's on, or that's when he did the episode.
Right.
Like keep it kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Like it's coming, but you're never quite sure when it's
just kind of hit out of nowhere.
It's kind of like a good little gift, like a good surprise. Like, okay, cool, I've got like something to do this afternoon, or I've got something to do tomorrow morning on the way to work or whatever.
Yeah, right.
So but yeah. Well, welcome, guys.
Yeah, good to be here.
Yeah, good to see you guys. It's been a minute. Yeah. So I know everyone's living their life and stuff. So
I haven't seen Jimmy in almost 24 hours.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah. I guess technically, yeah.
Yeah.
just about.
Almost spot on.
Yeah.
You guys practice like a couple times a week, or?
We used to do Thursday nights and Sunday afternoons, and especially when we were first putting stuff together. And Thursday nights is kind of almost turned into like a utility night. Like sometimes we'll be working on figuring out like how we're setting up something for a backtrack, or if like Jimmy or Skylar needs to go over a certain part, then we'll do that. But also we do, what we call quiet practices too on Thursdays, where Alec has his electric kit. And, so if you walk by, the only thing you hear is pitter-patters and me
on, like,
shouting about stuff. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I mean, those have gotten a little less consistent, I think, but Sundays are still our day, so we kind of like a day and a half a week, or a practice and a half a week.
At least one solid practice.
Yeah,
and then whatever else we need to kind of brush up on. Yeah,
Sunday gets affected by if we did Thursday night or not, too, because if we totally miss a Thursday, then it's like, all right, we really got to hit it on Sunday.
Right.
So,
but I mean, we also just like hang out a lot, like grill and stuff, and then we just talk band stuff and like marketing and shows, and so we're like hanging out, having dinner. So it doesn't feel like we're working, but we're still getting
Jared cooks for us a lot. Or he's gonna cook, so he's like, might as well just bring some other stuff.
Dude, I've had some of your grilling, and I mean, you're kind of like known as the grill master around these parts.
Around these parts.
Really. Well, half of my grill stuff's thanks to Corey now and her family, girlfriend and all that. She's got me my pan and the chimney and everything.
He's like fully loaded. Yeah, you got the new chimney going.
Damn. So the charcoal starter thing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cool. It's great.
Oh, we're going to have some grill talk.
You don't even have to use lighter fluid for that, right? It's just like you put
it's just newspaper in there. You finally have something to do with all the newspaper that gets mailed to you. Like, I'm going to light it on fire.
True.
So
yeah, you're probably also the first person the first friend I had that got a grill too, so that might have some, you probably have the most practice out of all of us.
Something, yeah. I don't know. I had it from my dad. My dad's just, charcoal.
Yeah, that propane stuff.
I'm that guy now.
I think
that's the way to go.
You've probably surpassed your father's in certain ways. Maybe the burnt hot dogs, at least.
I think he's grown.
Yeah.
The last time I had one of his signature pork steaks, it was not burnt.
Wow.
So that was pretty dope.
That in and of itself.
Doesn't your dad smoke stuff pretty well, though? I thought he smoked beef pretty well.
I don't know.
He's got a pretty good beef smoking.
I just need to call him.
I thought that was your dad's thing. I'm not sure. I
don't know.
I've had his ribs before, and they were definitely cooked.
Definitely smoked.
They were good still.
Yeah.
His defense.
But you said something about you guys will like kind of chill and talk about like the way the band's going, marketing, stuff like that. I meant to tell you earlier, like I feel like you were saying like you were kind of like Instagram storing stuff, and you're like, I'm pretending like I do social media, dude. You do every time I post something, you're like, I can count on within like 30 seconds that you're gonna like it or comment.
Nice.
I don't check my first notification whenever anything gets posted
because it's just Alec. Exactly. But it's cool. It's like you're like trying to.
I see you. I don't know. I'm trying to do what I think someone who knew what they were doing would do.
So they can. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But
But you don't know.
really know what I'm. It's kind of out of necessity, because it's like, I mean, like with any of the band stuff, like the graphic design or like booking shows or hang-ups, like we kind of do it all in house because we don't really know what we're doing or who else could do it.
Right.
I guess like we don't have a lot of artist friends we hang out with, so it's, I guess we got to
like visual artists or
visual artists and graphic designers and like photographers. So it's like, well, we just got to.
It's like the drawback of all of us growing up and basically only hanging out with musicians.
We know that really well.
Everybody we know is good at something, but it's just the same thing.
You can't draw. You can still draw on them, but not for.
It's like, can anybody make a poster? And it's like, check out this riff.
Right.
It's a visual. It's an audio poster of yours.
But we're starting to get it figured out. It's moving in the right direction.
Yeah,
it's hard to build. It's hard to build a fan base. I guess.
Totally. Social media is it's just so much. There's so many people wanting attention.
Yeah.
So it's hard to make people realize that they should pay attention to you.
Yeah,
you know,
that breakthrough is.
I totally
difficult.
get that.
Yeah, part of what we're looking at too, and it's the reason why we have our setup like we have it live and everything, is to be able to really put on like a show that's entertaining.
Yeah,
and all that. Because the thing is, like, nobody's gonna go to a show if they see a band and they're like, okay, or whatever, like. If you see them playing again, you're not just going to want to go automatically, So if we can get things built to the point to where it's truly entertaining, then it's like okay, here we are.
Yeah.
They're seeking it out.
Because
Yeah,
I think the social media is, you have to have it there. That's not going to build your fan base.
It's supplementary.
But it's, once you have your show and your act and your music there, that helps to maintain and keep it and let them know what's going on. But as far as just building the fan base from social media, I don't think.
Right.
I think you're better off like meeting people in person,
Totally.
like building connections, putting on a killer live show, and having like, you have to have all aspects. Like the recording has to be awesome, because I mean, there's a lot of local bands who have recordings that sound pretty good, but then it matters when you put them on in a playlist with like professional recordings.
Like stack them up against the others.
Yeah, because I mean, there's lots. I mean, because you guys are engineers, and you mix a song you're working on, and you're like, this sounds really good, and like you listen to it in your car, and that's the only thing you listen to for a couple of days. Like, it sounds really good.
Yeah.
And then you put on like a professional mix, and then play that one, and you're like, oh,
You're like, fuck.
you get the perspective.
Yeah.
You're like, that's
Well, it's
not
a
what I
shame
thought.
for like a lot of acts and stuff, because I've seen a bunch of local bands and everything that live they just kill it.
Totally.
And they're incredible. And then like you'll hear their recordings, it's like, oh, that's where you guys kind of like, well, whatever.
Sounds like a different band.
It's,
recording.
it's a shame. Or with a social media presence, like you don't know when their next show is, or you don't know how to keep up with them or anything.
Right.
Even though they blew you away.
Yeah.
And so that's what like Alex talking about, kind of that supplemental presence online and everything to keep being like, hey, we're here. Yes, like we still want to do all this and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I kind of see it as 4 parts. Like you have like the recordings, the live show, then just you as people, and the social media. And like most bands fail at one of those, if not multiple.
Totally.
Where they have a good live show, but the recordings are awful, or they have a good live show, but they're like, you can't really talk to them as people, or they don't want to hang out after a show and just chat, or they have a good live show and the recordings are good, but then they have no social media presence, and it's like, if you're failing at one of those, you're probably going to be running into trouble.
Yeah, definitely.
So
yeah, it's people either kind of have they're like creating the content, but I think a lot of it has to do with interaction, like kind of like what you're doing is like, you guys are pretty much like, you guys don't post like annoyingly, like you post often enough.
We try to do it like that it's like pertinent.
Exactly. Like kind of, it's consistent
make
enough.
sure we have something to say, but we're not repeating ourselves. But
Exactly. You're not bugging people.
You're not flooding it.
not posting to post.
Yeah.
And with you, and I try to do the same thing, is, and even though they're just likes, but that feels good to people. So if you have people, maybe you have somebody that's seen you guys and started following you or something, and you start following them back, and they're posting something about what they're doing, you're liking it, you're showing that you're
It's like a
not just a
mutual
band,
thing.
but you're a real person. So
Yeah.
like, I think that kind of helps
It's not
you
like we got
stand
your
out.
like, we got your follow, and then you're dead to us.
Right. It's like, okay, cool, now we can be friends.
When it kinda,
Like, we can connect.
Yeah, it goes back to, because I remember growing up and going to all the metal shows at all the churches and everything like that, like the greatest part of that wasn't the bands or anything, it was like that community.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you're consistently interacting with people both online and in shows and stuff, it's kind of a throwback, and it's a welcoming thing that or hopefully that people would want to be a part of.
Sure.
Yeah, because I mean, any time you're looking to do something, you want to be involved with it in some capacity.
And
Yeah.
that's why, because there's a lot of bands who do the social media thing, like they post about what's going on, but they don't interact much, and that just seems like kind of take the fun. Like, I like trying to talk to people, so if like we get a new follower on Instagram or Twitter, like just send them a message like, hey, like, oh, I know you from somewhere in the scene.
That's a really good
I haven't met
move.
you yet, but it's like, just, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks when they don't say anything.
Yeah.
Sometimes you hit it off, and I've made
totally.
a number of friends like on Instagram or Facebook. Like, I've never met this person in real life. I might not meet them for like 3 months, but we definitely know who each other are.
Then
We
you do
interact
the
a lot,
dance.
and
Yeah,
when you
then
meet
you
them in
do the-
person,
I'm sorry. But then you do the dance, when you see them for the first time, because you don't like plan to hang out, but you like see them at a show,
And you're like-
or something. You're like, hey,
Yeah.
is that guy? Like,
oh, it is.
like, oh, he just looked at me. Like,
You
And
both
they're
pretend
like-
like you're looking behind the person.
like maybe like shout their name and look away.
Yeah.
Like, did they look? Bob.
But then you have common ground because you're like, because I mean, I've had a number of people like that where well, we're both working on social media. They're in another band, and they're kind of doing the same thing. So we interact a lot online, but I haven't met them in person. Then you meet them in person, and you have a lot to talk about.
You're already friends, yeah.
Yeah, it's because I've definitely made a lot of friends that way. So
Dude,
it's
totally.
cool.
Yeah, I for my music is it's weird, so it's kind of hard. There's not really like a scene for it here, at least.
Yeah.
So I kind of I basically have to resort to the internet to like talk to people. But there's a couple like groups I'm in on Facebook, like electronic music or like chill music groups or whatever. And like some of these, I met a couple people that like I interact with like daily. Like these are like this kid. I have this kid. His name's Param, I think is how you say his name.
Kid?
He's not. There's this kid.
Well,
I say kid because he's like
Yeah.
maybe 17 or
You
18.
can say that now.
Yeah. But I think his name's Param. I don't know how to pronounce it. I've never talked to him in person, but he lives in like New Delhi, India. And I talk to this kid like weekly, and we exchange ideas
cool.
and like
That's weird.
it's
cool.
really weird, but it's like this
Yeah.
kid's like a really good
It's
friend
like
of mine.
back
like,
in the wild days of AOL Instant Messaging.
yeah, kind of. It's kind of got that vibe. It's
That's
cool.
like, I mean, that's kind of how like Periphery got big. It's
Right.
just like Misha, and for people who don't know, Periphery was like kind of a do-it-yourself metal band who's they're all just like
they proved you can do it yourself.
Each one of them is the best at what you
They're
do.
all-
Like
it's a
the best
super
guitar
group.
players, the best drummer, the best social media, the best engineer. But
Totally.
they got big because the guy who wrote the original songs was like posting online.
Yeah, it's Bulb.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
just on
Misha.
forums, like being like a troll. And
What was that website? It was big for a little bit that he shared stuff on.
I don't remember actually.
Yeah,
I don't know if I was listening to him.
because I never got into
when
that,
that
but
was happening.
it might be
Yeah.
worth like just jumping into forums and just hanging out. It's,
Totally. Yeah, I try to do like Reddit and like post in like artists, like some electronic artists will have their own like subreddits where they actually interact with their fans and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll try to like post in there or find find other people that post in there and like go to their pages, send them a message like, I mean, I don't like bullshit people. If it's something
No.
I don't like, I won't say anything.
Yeah.
But if it's like,
Exactly.
usually you find something you like and you're like, oh, this person only has like maybe 100 followers, but they're like making some amazing shit. And there's so much of that.
you find a brother. in
Yeah, you
arms.
do.
Yeah.
And then you message them and you're like, hey, I really like that or whatever. And they check your stuff out, or even if they don't, it's like,
You probably give them a little boost to start doing stuff
yeah,
too.
maybe they're going to start posting more or like, try to get more into their thing or whatever. But so I find that's good.
That's yeah, 'cause
out
that's
your
the worst
demographic.
when people get spammy, and I notice that on Instagram a lot. Is you have people who just like the second you
annoying.
post something, or you post a minute-long video, and like 6 seconds later, someone's like, "Nice," or
Yeah.
like, I love what you did here." It's like you
Whoa.
literally haven't had enough
Copy and
time to
pasted.
watch.
I'm a drummer too. Follow me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Here's my link. Yeah.
Yeah.
sometimes I ignore them, but sometimes I just delete them. Like, dude,
Yeah. I don't like that either. It doesn't work. I don't know
no,
why
I don't
people
think it
do
does
it.
either.
Maybe they do it so many times a day that it does work.
They get accidental
works.
clicks.
Well, I
It
guess
works
I
at
mean,
a
it'd
point.
be a numbers game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it's
I,
like
I don't think that's doing you any favors in the long run.
No.
or building you any real fans or.
Yeah.
True.
What were you going to say, Jay?
I was going to say it's like the solicitors like via mail and
Right.
everything like that. You get
Cold
those things all
calls
the
and
time, and you
yeah.
always. I actually used to use them to like pour like protein into
Yeah,
water
little
bottles.
funnel.
Funnel it
Like,
up.
where's a
and stuff.
piece of scrap paper?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, I'm sorry, first whatever church of something.
Right.
Like, you
you
are now
mentioned
my
that, yeah.
funnel. Like,
Yeah.
I actually
thanks,
had those. I had 2 people knock on my door before I came over, and I like looked through the peephole because I'm like, it better not be. Last time it was weirdly just like 3 people asking if I knew how to speak Spanish or if I had a neighbor that did, and I'm like, yeah, I think so. What? Okay,
Well,
And, like
maybe.
go check down there. I think. But,
Yeah.
Okay, and they're like, okay, thanks, bye.
Yeah.
But these guys were like, this is the 3rd time they've come back, and they're always asking for Daniel, not you.
Which is weird.
Yeah, and I'm like, that guy must have lived here like 2 or 3 years ago, but please stop coming. They're like, well, do you want to hear about it? I'm like, no, I'm all right, thank you.
Just every
Yeah.
time they come, just start answering answering the door with less and less clothes.
I've been doing that actually. The first time I literally woke up and was like, what the fuck? And just kind of stumbled over. Yeah, it's
Solid move.
I was
though.
really nice to them tonight though. I was like, Well, thanks for asking. I guess try to stay cool out there. And they're just like dying in their
Don't
suits.
die.
Oh, they were wearing suits.
Yeah, they were fully suited. It was bad.
Too hot.
Yeah.
I like low key kind of resent everybody that says it's hot outside because the AC in my car has been broke for like 3 years.
Oh no!
just-
They're like, oh man, it's a warm one out there. I'm like, you have no idea.
Have you been in this attic that we're sitting in?
Nothing like my car. I'm
Dude,
fine.
Give it like 15 minutes. Can you feel it though? It's already warmed up.
No, dude, I drove here in my
I
car.
was about to say, I'm
ice
fully
box.
acclimated
Yeah,
too, man.
Yeah.
Compared to walking around Crossroads today, this is fine.
Yeah, that's
You
fair.
Stepped out.
I sweat probably
Yeah, I don't know why
at
I'm
least
bitching.
5 to 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Like today, like it was in the hundreds because the AC's broken in the place I'm working. So it's like
That's not
we were
good.
just going at it for like 12 hours, and by the end of it, we're all like, "Wow, we smell sour. This is bad." No one's peed. We've been drinking gallons of water.
Nice.
It's good
Yeah.
though, because now I don't need AC. I'm a new man. I'm reborn.
it's probably good for you. I mean, it's like sauna.
Right? Yeah,
A little bit.
that's a good way to look at it.
Right.
At this horrible
It's like
inferno.
sauna for like 12
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Extreme amount of
Yeah.
time.
That might be past the point of good.
I don't know if it's good anymore. I think you're cooking. But yeah.
You said you were down at Crossroads today.
Yeah, so
Was it middle of the map?
Yeah, for middle of the map fest with so I play in Impart, but I also play in this band Mene Mene, which good luck spelling that.
Yeah.
Mean.
Yeah, we were just
Meme,
talking about how to actually
meme.
pronounce it because we were all like,
I was saying meanie for the last
Yeah.
year in my head.
Yeah.
MENE. But
Imieni. It kind of sounds like it's spelled.
well, the thing is, like with band names now, literally everything's taken. Like you could write out like 100 band name ideas, and
I just use a
That's
generator.
we had a huge list, and they were like all taken. Like
Yeah.
So I was shocked, like
Really?
when I
Oh,
got
yeah.
Impart,
That's
because
weird.
our original name was Medium, and
Oh, yeah, I
we
remember
were
that.
gonna stick with that for a while. And then there was this band that had that name in like the early '90s, and right before we were about to launch, they came back.
Oh,
no.
God.
like literally like 2
reformed.
months.
I bet you they
before
got a
we
bunch of
launched.
accidental like replays on their old stuff, like
Oh,
links to people looking for your stuff.
Something I
They're
don't
like,
know,
we
man.
should form the band
but
again.
but the whole thing behind Medium was like just communication. Just
Like, it
having
is a
something to
medium.
communicate.
Yeah.
And everything. So I mean, long story short, was just trying to think of borderline synonyms for it. And then I think I was actually listening to an audiobook, and someone said something about imparting.
You're like,
And I was like, impart. I was like,
yeah.
that's definitely taken, but I'm
Sure.
going to check.
Yeah.
And man, we scoured the internet.
Yeah.
It just nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like,
That's awesome.
Guys, there's, I have a one
we
word
can have
band
a band
name.
now.
Yeah.
And
So,
thank
that's
God
cool.
it works because we had already ordered the art. And
Yeah, so the
and-
concept got to stay the same.
Oh yeah. Speaking of, I like that kick drum you got, boy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you get the
Decal.
logo on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I finally did.
He surprised us and
Nice.
just whipped it out.
Well, he only surprised you and me. He told everyone else.
yeah, he told everyone. I didn't.
Well, just Skylar. I think I mentioned it.
I probably just didn't remember, or
Yeah, I don't think.
know.
I think I told Skylar when he was maybe had been drinking a little bit at the Aftershock show, and so I don't think he remembered it all.
I was
not.
super startled.
Because Jared was talking to me about it, like I had already ordered it at this point. And he was like, "We need to think about getting a bass drum head," and like I'd even throw in for it. I was like, "Yeah, maybe towards the end of the. I don't really have like a lot of money for it right now."
I was totally down.
slide
I was like,
devil.
"Hey, buddy, I can help you out."
Nice.
You know?
And I was like,
you should have just taken the money. What are you doing? Crap. I guess you'd have to pay it back.
Yeah. So anyway, Al, you're talking middle of the Mad Fest with Mene Mene.
Yeah, so Mene Mene played middle of the map today, which was awesome. I didn't think we were gonna get on that festival, but it was really cool. They had, I mean, there's like 70 bands or something.
Name them all now.
Spoon,
Spoon.
and
Oh, okay.
It's like
Grizzly
the,
Bear.
no, sorry, I had nothing.
He's
to
actually
say.
naming them. Go.
Spoon and Grizzly Bear.
That's all-
Was Grizzly Bear there?
yeah,
Or was
they were
that
there.
last? Was it last night too?
Yeah, it was last night
Okay.
and tonight. So I think the main stage was Crossroads, but they had like Record Bar, the Brick. We played at Res Downtown, which I guess is a church, and they have 3 locations within a block, and I was sitting at the wrong location for like half an hour.
Nice.
And I called the other guy in the band, Brad. I was like, "Where are you?" He's like, "Dude, I've been here for like 20 minutes. Where are you?" It's like, "I've been here for 20 minutes too." It turns out they had like 3 locations in one block area, but it was really cool. They had the only downside was it was in a church event center. Like they have like an actual stage, like big stage, awesome PA system. Like the sound guys there were incredible. So it was really cool to play. They just didn't serve alcohol in that venue.
Right. A little bit of a
That makes sense.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean,
even
it
any
was
wine.
it was awesome.
How ironic.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
I would go to that church.
Man's so happy.
No, it was really cool. Like the bands we played with were really good. Keaton Conrad did an acoustic set. He was really cool. And then this new band called Layman, they were awesome.
I play in a band with one of the guys from that. Matt, I'm assuming he probably plays drums.
Oh, I didn't meet him. I met Sam and John.
I don't know
Sam
if I
plays
know.
guitar and John was the singer.
Okay.
And they used to be in Smokey James and the Avalanche.
Okay, yeah.
And that was only around for a few months, but I saw their show at the Record Bar, and those guys were incredible.
That's cool.
I think the singer is out in L.A. now, but it's kind of weird. Like everybody knows everybody in this scene. Which
Yeah,
is like
Matt plays. I'm pretty sure he plays for Layman. I'm assuming he plays drums because he plays drums in. Matt plays drums in with Lucas.
oh, does
Yeah.
he? Oh, that dude's really good.
He's really good. He
Like-
plays for. He's in like. I don't see how people do these multi-band things.
Yeah.
But he's in. I know he's in Layman. He's in Lucas, and then he's also in Existum. Have you heard of Existum? They're like a kind of
the
proggy
name,
metal.
I
About
haven't heard
to
of. I
ask,
could
is
see.
it prog metal? Because that sounds exactly like a prog metal.
But they just gotta write up on like Metal Sucks and stuff.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
But he's a really good drummer.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Yeah.
that's all he does too.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, because I did 3 bands for a very short period of
Yeah,
time,
I can't do it.
and one of them I was just kind of like filling in, so I didn't actually have to do anything for it. And
and that
like,
was still too much.
oh,
Especially working full time too.
Yeah,
on top
Totally.
of that.
Yeah, I don't.
It's not that like everybody in Impart is in 2 projects except for me, and I'm just kind of
You're
like
the smart one.
It's
Yeah.
like, I've like tossed around ideas like I want to start like a pop funk band or
Yeah.
something. I don't know.
Pop
I don't
funk.
know. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make a page and then say we're on hiatus.
Right.
Sweet,
Yeah.
I'm playing the blues. If you
Yeah.
want to come
I'm just gonna
see.
say I'm in 2.
Yeah, I don't see.
well, I guess it's different for people who like if you were a drummer and you just played in the bands and you didn't do any management, they're just like, hey, show up here and play the drums.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
one thing. But if you're like, because with Impart, I'm doing, and many I'm doing the booking for both and like kind of managing the social media, so that eats up way more time than playing the drums. Like
Totally.
it's actually
That's your full time job right there.
Yeah, I get that.
that's where all the time comes in. But
Yeah,
I can see jumping around a lot more and being like 4 or 5 bands if you weren't.
Nope.
If you were just like if you just had to show up, play the part, and then leave, and that was it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
One if it were
imagine
if
the
it were
practices,
simpler
though.
too, because like I mean our setup is a little complex, I guess.
Yeah.
That's I guess running.
If
the
you were just
live show.
like a guitar player with your cab in the back and just good old wedges and everything, like I could see your point with that. It'd be a little
Yeah.
bit simpler. It's like hey, learn that Green Day song. It's like I got you.
You're right. Yeah.
Well, that was the really nice thing about the UK is I mean, because with Impart and Many, we have our own in-ear setup, and we like are like we have like live shows to a click and like lights and stuff and in-ear monitor. But it was like the UK is you just like set your drums down and play the song. That's
Right.
it. Which is
Woo! It's kind of how we like to do it in Spellbook.
Yeah.
Just kind of
Just wing it, man. It's a
play
big
real
jam.
loud and
Yeah.
and I love
some
the in-ear
reggae.
monitors. I love playing to a click, but sometimes it's nice just like throw your drums down and just like, play some
Unplug.
songs.
Just jam.
It's
Yeah.
just it's really free and free
Yeah,
form. And,
I just can't like. I mean, yeah, I do. I know people that are like 4 or 5 bands, and like none of the bands suffer either, and like you know what I mean.
like they all
they're
keep
all
each other fresh.
Yeah, I can't see like with this show that's coming up tomorrow that we're playing it with Spellbook, and I'm playing with Lucas. And maybe it's different because it's the same show too. Is like. Well, Spellbook hadn't got together for a year and a half.
Millennia.
Yeah, and so it's like, and then like about 2 weeks ago, we were like, okay, we should probably practice.
And it went
So
pretty well, actually.
It went way better than we thought, but it
Yeah.
was like that plus getting together with Lucas, plus trying to like live life. Also, I'm just like, I gotta have like 3 nights a week
part
where
of
I'm
it,
doing
though, is,
nothing.
Right. Right now I'm down to 0. And it's not
And
good.
that productivity and everything though is a habit and a skill, because they say like if you want something done, ask a busy person to do it. You know,
Totally.
because they just people have ways of prioritizing their time. They have their schedules, and when you have that many things going on and you're doing it well, I mean you have everything laid out. You have everything down to a science.
I'm trying to get better at it.
I feel like I've been in like a manic state
I'm not.
for like the past couple months where I've just been doing shit. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know,
totally.
just so many different things going on that I don't have time to just sit around and think about being bored.
Yeah, like
Or,
I miss playing Fortnite, man.
That's the.
like I want to
think-
just sit around and do nothing. Is what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I think there
Sorry.
are definitely people like that.
guys.
'Cause I'm kind of like that myself. Is where like if I'm not working on something if I'm not at work or working on something music related, like sitting and watching TV like gives me anxiety.
Dude, me too.
Because I'm like,
Cool. I'm not the only one.
oh my god, I should be like I almost like I can't really watch TV or not do anything that's not working anymore because I get weirded out by it. Like I
Dude,
feel bad I'm not
It
doing
can
something.
spin you into like a dark place.
Now that you're saying that,
but now I'm like comfortable like with just constantly doing something because it's
right.
yeah, I now, yeah, I didn't realize. Me too. Like it's when I'm doing something, I'm like, God, man, I'm tired.
Yeah.
But then I'm not doing something, and I'm like, man, I need to be doing something.
Yeah,
I need
like-
to start playing Madden. That's how I take care of it. 'Cause I get into that, dude. You get into
Zone
franchise
out.
mode.
Oh, yeah.
You're like building your team and everything.
I'll come over
And-
sometimes and I'll just sit and watch him play Madden.
I think we all do that just because it's just like I just like turn my brain off for a
It's like
second.
it's like comforting him. Like
It is.
I know he's fully
especially-
into that. I don't even have to worry about it. I'm just gonna sit on this couch.
Yeah, it's the couch too, dude. The couch in my house,
sucks me
man.
in.
You
Couch is all
sit
part of it,
down
baby.
and
It's part
like
of the solution.
if there's anything people remember after leaving my house, it's either the grill or my couch. You know,
Yeah.
because the couch eats you. You sit
Oh yeah,
down.
I remember that now.
Yeah, and like an hour later, you realize you've somehow sunk like 3 feet further into it.
Yeah, you're all like
You're
Yeah.
Knees
holding
are,
your
like, in your
knees.
chest.
Yeah.
Well, I tell people too, because during the summers, I sleep probably half and half between that couch and my bed. Because I'll be sitting there watching Netflix or something, and be like, I'll charge my phone tomorrow.
right.
Out. Yeah.
Right.
All right, welcome back. We took a short break there, and in the time that's passed, it is now officially Daniel's 24th birthday. So happy birthday!
All right, back to it.
Now back
to work.
business.
all right, we got that.
Birthday's over.
Got that over with. Okay.
Yeah, we don't care anymore.
You were talking a little bit about like we were talking about like kind of like distraction stuff. I think sort of. We were like,
Yeah.
you were talking about Madden.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good distractions.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. But
Yeah.
I was saying earlier, like kind of during the break, like I want to be one of those people that's busy. Like I want to be doing things,
But it's stressful.
but it's also stressful, and I also want to be doing nothing
yeah.
all the
I need
time.
Right.
more
You sound
hours
like
in
the
the day.
perfect candidate to be a teacher.
Really?
Yeah, it just like you want to stay busy, but as soon as you are, it's like,
You're like, God damn
is
it."
summer break here yet?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's trying to get to the next best moment.
Yeah.
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 Not living in the now. I
Yeah,
guess.
it's like, all right, I just got to get through all this stuff, and then I can chill.
Yeah.
And then when you're
Then you get
chilling,
to chill and you're like, when's the next thing I got to do?
yeah, you're like, next.
That's
week.
that's how I feel about shows because I'm like, oh, we got this big show coming up, and then it comes up, and you play it like that was when's the next one?
Yep.
and you're
Yeah.
just
You
immediately
just
on
don't
to the
enjoy it.
next thing, and then it's like, oh my god, it's already been like 4 or 5 months,
Right?
That's how I
Flow
feel
down.
about like every scheduled event in my life. It's cool when it's almost the opposite actually. I when we schedule it, it's really cool, and then it's like a day before, I'm like, I don't want to do this.
Exactly.
Because you
Yeah.
don't want to load up and do all that crap. And then you get there and you're like, oh wait, no.
It's
what
fine.
was I
Yeah,
thinking?
and then
This
it's
is awesome.
over like that. Like there's so much
Yeah.
lead up, and then you don't want to do it, and then it's over.
Feels like a minute.
And you're like, when's the next
passes.
one?
Yeah.
Like when did we schedule this thing?
I don't know. I might have talked.
It was like it's been like a month.
Yeah, but we also like planned like that was by design though too, because we had a line of shows
Yeah,
and stuff
pretty
that we
busy.
kind of went through, and then you had a few more, and you had also just done a band or a musician or something. and you didn't quite want to stack it like that. You get some diversity, and all that. So it lined up perfect because we just played last night, and then we don't have a show for a couple weeks now. So it's just this is perfect time, and then it
just worked out. Yeah, it was like. Because Jimmy, I think, mentioned something. We were loading up for practice the other day, and Jimmy was like, "When do you want to do the podcast?" And then I remembered, I completely forgot that we had scheduled one for today, and I was like, "I don't know, man. It's just crazy. Definitely not this weekend." And then I was like,
"Wait a minute."
And then you messaged me the next day, and you're like, "Hey, we still on for this weekend?" And I'm like, oh my god, it's already June 30th. Holy fuck, what happened?
Yeah, it's your birthday, man.
It is. Yeah. And so it was that, and then also I'm losing my train of thought right now. So it got here, and then also I forgot again that it was today, and
I did too. Actually, I fell asleep earlier. I'm like, I feel like I'm missing something.
Yeah, because it was Tuesday that we talked or something. And it was we still on for this weekend. I was like, yeah, totally, man. Absolutely. And then I've been trying to get better about putting things in my calendar on my phone.
So I started doing that too.
Give me some.
I
notice.
live on Google reminders. That's my life.
Yeah. So it was the same thing happened again yesterday. I have it let me know 24 hours ahead of time, and then. I'm cooking dinner, and on my watch it pops up, and it's podcast tomorrow. And I'm like, oh my god, it's already fucking Saturday. What happened?
Well, dude, you were just saying earlier you want to be one of those guys that's busy and always doing it. You made it.
Well, yeah,
you did it.
Hopefully, none of the benefits have hit yet, but. The content's being created.
We can go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the content's being created, which is
fuck, guys.
Where's
the benefits at?
Yeah.
Come on.
Hey, man, you're in the band too.
But
it's working.
I think that's part of it, though. If you're that guy who's always that busy, you're you set your expectations so high that you start getting things accomplished, but your expectations are still higher.
Right.
So you're that was
you're looking for the next hit.
Yeah,
that's us playing middle of the map today. It was oh my god, we played middle of the map, and then I'm no, we need to do better. We need to have bigger shows. We need
right. But imagine,
that's cool, but I'm already shooting way higher.
Exactly. And imagine 2 years ago thinking I'm gonna be playing middle of the map fest in 2 years. No, you know what I mean? It doesn't seem.
Dude, that's or the show we booked, the Aftershock on 23rd, right?
Yes,
it's
July,
with July. It's with Howard Jones, who is in Killswitch Engage.
Big show, yeah.
His new band, and us all
Light
growing up. Yeah, light the torch. But
verb the noun.
Verb the noun.
Yeah, really.
No, but we all grew up just obsessed with Killswitch. That was our real, or at least for me, and
more so it was I always really liked them, but that was for you guys probably a band between the Buried and Me was for me.
And Taylor, all those dudes and everything. It was just Killswitch was
God.
Just us. We grew up on the end of Heartache, and
it's still a classic.
Yeah, it's still great, and it's one of those albums that holds up, too.
Timeless. Yeah.
But we had all seen them live a few times, and at the time we were all playing in metal bands, so we were trying to riff around and be oh, we sound like Killswitch. I mean, we sounded nothing like Killswitch.
Right.
But that's we definitely sound like Killswitch.
Yeah.
I actually had a guy when I was 16, I told that to, and sold him a CD, and he wanted to give it back. he said, this sounds nothing like
not
Killswitch.
what I signed up for.
And back then, I was a little more snooty back then. I said, well, you bought it.
You idiot.
Yeah. Gotcha. No, but so this dude hit us up about playing that show, and there was a few that he wanted us to choose from. Hey, there's these dates. Basically, pick one. And I read the first one. I was oh, that'd be cool. I read the second one, I said, that'd be cool. And I got to the third one, I was that's Howard Jones!
Right,
yeah. Guys!
Yeah, I remember your text to me.
And the others, I guess, were technically bigger bands. They had bigger followings on social media and everything, and been around longer than Howard's new band.
But they don't have Howard.
But they don't have Howard Jones.
Yeah. That's a big deal, man. That's
we're so pumped.
It's definitely the biggest show that I've ever got to be a part of.
Yeah.
I think for all of us.
Yeah. and I'm just gonna be giddy as all get the whole time.
You'll probably get to chill with him. The Aftershock's pretty
Don't
small.
even say that.
Well,
That's like our friend Aaron. You guys all know Aaron. I think he's more pumped about it than we are, and he's like
pulling
turning
his
into
weight
like
on it.
our like official like street team dude,
Like fanboy. Yeah.
he's like out trying to sling tickets and stuff because we have like a ticket goal that like the promoter wants us to meet and everything that we think we're gonna do fine on and all that. But I mean, he's all about it, and just like it's that whole like high school group and everything that kind of were like spreading word around. Like it's like, hey, dude,
Remember this?
Yeah.
That's cool. It's like everything's kind of coming back around.
took a few years,
Well,
but
it
it's
was
coming
cool
back.
too because like when the guy was talking about wanting to sell X amount of tickets and everything, I was like, gosh, like all right, we can go for that. And I was thinking they were going to be like $20 tickets, or like $25 tickets, and they're only $13, and it's just like, oh.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's more reasonable.
It's like our second show, we sold 29 tickets at $10, and that was like one of those like there's like 12 bands and like we're gonna play for X amount of time. Yeah, we got close to 30 people out to something like that for just our second show.
That's cool.
And that's been the weird thing about this band too, because we've all been in a lot of bands, and especially the ones that we were younger. I don't know if you guys got this as much or if I just like sucked when I was young, but but I remember asking people to come to shows or checking out or like to check out a song or something, and you'd hand it, they listen to it, like, oh man, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, cool.
You know, or you'd be like, hey, you want to come out to the show? And they'd be like, I'll see what I can do about it.
Yeah.
Versus like that's been so cool about this thing is like I had a couple buddies text me today like, hey man, when's your next show? Or that like people will actually check stuff out and not only just say it's cool, but like pick something out about it.
Right.
Like,
You
oh,
can
this
tell
reminds
that they're
me of
genuine
this.
on it.
Yeah, and I like it's cool because like I didn't play live or was in a band or anything like that for what, like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
Or something. It was about the time I was 20, 21 or something, and I tried to get some projects.
Everything's kind of a work in progress.
Yeah, and then time went by, and then this stuck.
Yeah.
And I almost like feel like those years and all the different projects I was trying to do kind of like just led to being able to do this band because I was looking into songwriting into even like what kind of like drum parts or stuff or bass parts or vocal melodies and everything
Song
like that.
structure.
Yeah, I was
stuff.
learning all these kinds of different things and all these genres because I'm a borderline schizophrenic when it comes to just genres of music that I want to play.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'd be starting like a deathcore band and be like, I want to do an acoustic project.
Yeah.
So it's like like Impart kind of just became the middle of all of that kind of
Middle ground.
stuff, and it was cool because it just like not only like friends wanting to come see it or listen to the music too, but getting people to come join it too was a lot easier. The first bassist we had didn't work out. He wasn't able to continue on right before we were about to launch, and then Skylar. I hit him up and it was like, hey. He was like, heck yeah, dude, I'm right into it.
Right.
We went through how many guitars? Yeah, 5, 6, something like that. And eventually
In about 6,
hit up
7
Jimmy
months.
and was like, hey, dude, like we got this thing going, played a couple shows, do you want it?
Right.
Got back to us, like, yeah, I want to try it out. And it's been great ever since.
Hey, Jim.
At least that's been my perspective.
The guy.
Yeah, it's weird that
That's
this
been
is
a lot
like
of fun.
the high school lineup.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we actually everybody in this band right now played in Faulting Our Fathers.
Except
that,
now
that
we're all
old
like,
metal band.
we have money to buy cool gear with.
yeah.
It all works a
And
little smoother.
we're definitely
work
a
at
lot
Pizza
less
Street.
awful.
right.
No more
Especially
line
me.
6.
Right.
And this is the fun part too about, if you guys recall back in the shows in those old days, it was always like, do you have a PA?
Right.
Remember? It's
Yeah.
like, how are we physically going to do this?
How are
now we
people
got
gonna
this whole
hear it?
we got this whole setup now. You know, like we got our in-ears, and like we're not even using amps anymore.
Right.
And it's just like, which is funny because it was always trying to buy an amp that was loud enough when
Right.
you're younger.
Now we're
And
handing
we're-
that sound guy one cable, and he's
It's
like, "Thanks,
it's
man."
like we've come, yeah, but it's like we've come full circle. We started with no amps.
yeah.
We're trying to
Back
get a
to
bigger
no
amp,
amps.
and then we got our big amps. It's like this sucks.
Yeah, these are heavy.
So heavy.
Yeah.
And now they're gone, and it's I'm never
Poor
looking
Al is
back.
stuck with.
That's awesome.
The Gator box from
yeah.
hell.
Yeah, and now I run our live sound and do the drums.
Yeah,
and
you get all
else shows
the
up with
cool
guitars.
stuff to carry.
Right.
That's about it.
So
Alec wears a lot of hats.
Yeah.
so get into your setup because I'm interested in, and
Yeah,
maybe
give me
no
a-
one else is.
give me a rig
that's
rundown.
listening, but we can get into it because I'm
Kind of
interested.
briefly.
Well,
yeah.
Dima, I'll give the kind of super layman's terms, and then you can kind of dive
Yeah,
into
okay.
some details.
Sounds good. Yeah,
Cool.
let's do that.
All right, so little bit of backstory on it. I was always a wedges guy, you know, just like I want to feel the guitar, I want to feel the
Right.
drums, feel everything.
And that's just speakers on
yeah, I was about to
stage.
say.
like,
yeah,
for
yeah. The
people
wedge
who-
is like the live monitors on
So you
stage.
can hear
or-
yourself.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like yeah.
Because you have speakers going, like big speakers going to the crowd, and
Right.
then speakers going to the people on stage to actually hear themselves.
So you
Yeah,
can tell
right.
what you're playing. Yeah.
And yeah, that's just how things worked forever, you know. And Alec had started playing in Mene and there-
Manamane.
and I tried to say it
According to
right
Davy's
since we're on the
Uptown.
podcast. Yeah, fine. You're going to be meme for the story now. But they had started playing to a click and everything, and kind of building that in-ear monitoring setup. And then my brother does audio-visual stuff for a church, and they all run in-ear monitoring. And then so I kind of had from two different camps, like people saying, dude, you need to get in on this. And I was really, really reluctant. At first, like, man, I don't know. I don't know. And dude, when I plugged those in and we got things set up, I was like, I will never go back.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the best thing in the world. So, I mean, long story short,
It's been a
I'm
really
sorry.
fun part for me, just being back to
Yeah.
practice with those. It's like,
It's a new thing.
It's
it makes me feel more
well for people who don't like
professional, I guess, because
Yeah.
everything is, every practice you're going to lock in and you know exactly. No one's going to have a weird off day of like.
in-ear monitors are basically like you're just listening to headphones,
Right.
Like you have like really nice
They're
noise
like,
canceling headphones,
Really
you
cool
let
earbud.
on
Yeah.
stage. Like,
Yeah.
They go in deep enough, they become a part of you. You have to like screw them into your head.
Yeah, they
That's
literally
true.
lock into your fucking
Yeah.
canals.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing is watching Skylar put those in. He's a lot better at it now.
He's learning.
But it is a struggle.
It took me a while, too.
Yeah, like it is a kind of a
It's awkward
screw-in
motion.
sort of a thing. Yeah, but poor Skylar, he's got long hair, you know.
Oh,
he
yeah.
pulls out a full club of hair every
time.
time he
Raunchy,
gets
dude.
done. We talked about that at the show.
Yeah.
last night. Yeah. So anyway, this whole setup that we have right now, I'm gonna kind of lay down a really basic version of what we do, and then we can have Al nerd out on it for a bit.
I love talking about this, but I don't talk about it very much.
Yeah,
dude.
I
so-
love hearing about it.
Yeah.
you
So our setup basically for we have a Gator box, which is just this like box that has a lot of hardware and stuff in
Yeah,
it,
it's
all
a-
these musical components and
It's like a road case,
Yeah,
essentially.
So, Jimmy and Skylar and I, guitar, bass, we all have a pedal setup. They're different pedal setups and everything. So, basically, we run sound through our pedals, go back to Alec, who has the audio interface that we all plug into. That sound's processed in the computer, and that goes out to the house. Like the sound that we're making comes to us first and then to the
Right.
house. So that's what gets pumped into our ears. Now, how we actually get our sound and how we went ampless is a lot of fun too, because Skylar has a Sans amp, which is just it's a pedal for bassists. And
Sounds
if-
amazing.
Yeah. The Sans amp is like the cheat sheet to just a good bass tone. It's
Yeah.
awesome. So basically, we run that signal to the house, and we run it to our ears, run it to the house, and that's his signal, and it sounds great. I have a pedal board. It just has a tuner, reverb, and delay on it, and there's an input on my pedal board and an output on my pedal board. And so I run back to Alec, and that actually goes into the interface and then into Logic. And we use the guitar simulation or emulation program called Bias FX. And so we actually have emulation software that's where my actual tone comes from. It's so, in the computer.
It's and then we like a virtual guitar amp and virtual guitar cabinet.
Yeah, and we send that out to the house. And that's where that guitar sound comes from. And the coolest part about it, other than not having to lift all that crap, is it's a clean tone.
Yeah.
Like if you're not making noise on your guitar, there's no noise going on or anything, you know. That was a good burp for the solid cover.
Damn, excuse me. I'm sorry.
Okay, I've been burping all night because I've been drinking this like seltzer water. I was trying to lean away from the mic.
I like, totally they could probably
hear it looks like you're about to puke every time you do that. I'm like, are you all right?
That was a total accident.
People are actually looking in here. You see us all like leaning over our chairs to try to burp.
Hey, it's my fucking birthday.
So. Yeah, man.
Happy birthday.
Get a little buck wild.
Anyway.
So we actually, but yeah, it's just a super clean sound. And you all know tube amps and everything. They are temperamental.
Yeah,
for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And you get all these.
It's gotta be the right temperature in there.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I love how my amp sounds. Like it's a good sounding amp and everything. It's a good price for it and all that. But
thank you, Jet City.
Yeah. But you know, it's heavy. And like the thing is like, well, we can get as good of and eventually better tone from our software and everything like that. And we're going to be experimenting with different cabin pulses and blah 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 blah.
Right.
That we can out of the amps. So it's like, why in the world are yeah? So and then Jimmy's setup is actually cooler than mine.
It's slightly
if you want to kind of walk it.
Yeah, it's similar. It's a pedal board like yours, and then
he has like the analog setup of what I do.
Instead of me going back and getting all my sound emulated from software out of Al's computer, instead it's all coming out of a pedal that has a tube preamp in it, so it's acting almost like a guitar amp head in pedal form, and it's 2-channel, so I have like a clean and a dirty, and then from that I can send out a signal that already has a cab impulse built into the pedal.
Yeah, that's what makes the signal sound like it's coming out of a speaker.
Right. Instead of me, which I can do both, which I do at our practices sometimes, or all the time. I'll send it out to my amp, so it's like a guitar head going through an amp, and then I'll send another signal that's guitar with a simulated amp to Al, then to our ears.
Damn, man.
You have to kind of draw it. You really do have to draw this stuff out to to make sure you know what you're doing, but it makes sense once you've done it, I guess.
And it's just like with the setup, like I said, you have 3 stringed instruments, which used to be 3 guitar amps on stage. You know, it's like there's so many different variables that come with that, and especially when you're using in-ear monitoring. You know, if we're miking cabs or sending lines from our cabs and stuff every night, every room is different.
Right.
You know, and you're going to get a different room sound, a different whatever. When everything's emulated, and we mic our own drums and stuff, Alex got these really cool little condensers that click onto his kit.
Right.
And it's just a super nice sound. And so...
Plus, he's got everything taped out on his drum rug.
Yeah,
right?
Jesus, man.
Like all your positions and stuff.
Everything we do, especially now that the amps are gone, so no buttons can be bumped into or anything.
Right.
Every time we set up now, our monitor mix in our ears that we used to listen to ourselves is the exact same every time, and that takes away like half of your setup time, because half the battle, if not more than that, when you're playing, I guess, traditional, like with the speaker monitors and everything like that, is, can I get more kick? Can I get more bass in my monitor? Can I get more whatever?
I still feel bad looking back at you, Al, and being like, dude, can I get more this or that?
But even with all the problems we have, because, I mean, I know we send everything directly to our box, and it's controlled by us, and there still are room differences and still are differences depending on which cut. But even those are so much less than having a sound guy try to dial it in.
We're way more
just
consistent.
shouting across the room like, hey, can I get more of this?
And also,
this much, which you have no idea what
you
that
do
actually
a hand
means.
motion, like
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is like you are our monitoring sound guy,
Right.
and so just from having played or us playing shows together, having practiced together every week and stuff. Like when I say, "Hey, can I get a little bump in my vocals?" Typically, I'm talking about or just a dB, a decibel, just like a little bump. Versus some people, a bump in their vocals might be this gigantic volume
Just
swing.
take the knob and turn it.
Yeah,
who knows how
like
much.
we're all so used to communicating to each other.
yeah, we're talking snippets and
Jargon.
scooch.
That's that's kind of the nice thing about in-ears is like really it's just granted you have the potential to do more ear damage, but in general it's not as loud. 'Cause I've played tons of shows where I had earplugs in. And they're
Still ringing.
My mix is coming through the monitors, and it's still super loud.
Yeah.
And you're like, my ears are ringing, and I had earplugs in for the entire show.
Right.
Like that's not okay. And with the in ears, you get done, pop them out. It's like you've been listening to music at work for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like no.
I never have a headache when I go home now.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
great.
Feel
Being
good.
being a singer too is like just an entirely different world.
Yeah.
So if you have ever sang in a live setting, it's when you're belting your high notes and stuff like that. That part's short of actually hitting the note isn't that hard to hear yourself and stuff because like that's the note that's screaming out of the speaker monitors. But when you get into like the softer parts where you're singing a little lower
register
that's
and
when
stuff.
you got the singers plugging their ear with a finger trying to hear them.
I totally
And
do that, yeah.
well, yeah, and what you find is that actually wears you out more because you're singing those parts louder than you would because you're just trying
To hear yourself.
Just make
hear
sure you're on the
yourself.
right
Yeah.
note.
Yeah. And so those in-ears, like, all I do, because we have a couple spots in our set, especially Caution on that song. It's a song I sing pretty low, like, comparably to the rest of the songs. It's just one of those, like, all I have to do is just, like, a little closer on the mic.
Right.
And it just,
all real
you find
time.
your stamina goes up because on the parts that are supposed to be the parts where you can kind of take it easy, you actually are taking it easy.
Right.
So that's why that song I'm talking about, it's third in our set because like our first two songs are pretty rocking and I'm yelling pretty loud about and that third song it's kind of a slower song and it sings it's just calmer
Yeah.
but it's kind of out of utility to kind of like because you guys know when you first start playing a show your adrenaline's like spiked
Boom.
and
Yeah.
you're giving everything in those first couple of songs and all that and then if you're not careful you hit that third or fourth song and you're like okay guys thank you so much
Right. Yeah.
so that's another benefit like as a vocalist for in-ear monitors is it saves your throat and like and especially because it was hard for me for a while and I'm still working on it because I wasn't in a band for so long and especially a band that I was like the main vocalist in and forever so it's been a bit of a battle just getting that stamina back and that consistency and everything and the in-ears have played such a huge role in being able to improve on that
That's why I like our practices so much. It's because
Yeah.
I actually feel like we're all improving like
Yeah.
pretty
aware
rapidly.
of what you're doing.
Everyone knows, like, because
Yeah.
you hear every little thing.
Yeah.
Even stuff that the crowd probably wouldn't even notice,
Right.
but you're like, damn it, I missed that.
Right.
That one little,
that's-
transition or one little part.
Well, and Alec has a cool setup with how he records all this. So
Oh,
he
yeah.
can record our practices and all of our live shows. So we get to look back and reflect on all of
Yeah.
it. So
the cool thing about that is because we can record literally everything we do. So we have multi-tracks, almost not studio quality, but kind of like we were in a studio where each instrument is a separate recording track that we can manipulate however we want.
Sure.
And then it's
basically we have demo quality recordings of everything that we do.
Like
Yeah.
what most
So you
like
can-
what a lot of local bands would like
Right.
put out.
Release.
And
for,
it's-
like,
Yeah,
tape.
yeah, they
He's already
slap
done
a
all the hard
compressor
work
on it
for it,
and then
so-
be like, here we go.
Yeah.
Right.
And with our in-ears, because we can treat each individual thing separately. So, like, for the vocals, like, you have a lot of, like, really, really low frequencies and sounds that are coming through that you don't need in a vocal track, so you can just roll those off and get rid of them. And then your mix you're listening to just sounds really clean.
Yeah.
Whereas, if you're at a venue and they're
That's
pumping
true,
things through
yeah.
a monitor, they might do that, but it doesn't sound very clean coming through, like, one speaker at the side of the stage.
Right.
Whereas in your headphones, and then you can like pan everything, so you can have
that's
one
a big
guitar
thing,
coming through
too.
your left and one guitar coming through your right.
Yeah, the full
and maybe
stereo.
the kick coming up the center, and you can like kind of dip out frequencies so that your click is really clear. And you can just hear how everything lines up, and it's just it's so easy
awesome.
to
With traditional monitoring, it's a volume war on stage, because like you want more kit or more drums, and then you want more bass or more guitar or whatever, and it's all mono, so it's all coming from one direction.
Right.
And with in-ears, with my mix, for example, Jimmy's guitar is almost exclusively in my right ear, and then my guitar is mostly center, and I think a little bit off to the left. And then guitars or not guitars, vocals are deadpan center, and so it creates space for you to be able to hear everything.
It's
So
like
then,
tracking. It's like tracking a song or recording a song.
That's
almost.
that's how you record it.
Yeah.
Or that's how you would.
It makes
listen.
sense to
like
me.
that's how people listen to music.
Right, that too.
Yeah, because not
Yeah,
everything's
nobody
sitting
listens
on
in
top of
mono.
each other in the exact same space. It's
Yeah.
kind of spread out like
When
you're
you
like
stack
in a room
them like
with
that,
it.
it just gets louder. It doesn't get clear. It just gets muddy, and it can defeat the whole purpose of you trying to adjust levels.
And then you're
It's all
confused
stacked.
at the end of the set why you
Right.
can't hear out of your left ear.
Why is everything
It's
turned up to
well,
10?
you told the engineer to keep making everything louder, and he did.
Yeah.
That's a careful thing, because eventually people are like, can I have this louder, then this louder, then this?
Yeah.
It's like, no, you just need to turn this one thing down, not turn everything else up.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
it-
That's actually a good point. I never really thought of it that way.
Yeah,
It's a life lesson.
I also like. There's a little bit of me that likes my ears to hurt after a show.
I
Ever
used-
since I started putting earplugs in, I've been like, what
Yeah.
have I been doing?
Yeah, I used to
wear
think
earplugs
that
at practice, but
until I went to a show, and then I was like trying to like actually do some audio work the next day. I was
yeah.
like,
Something
if I have
tactile.
to do any, like, no, I just
You're screwed.
Or you're laying in bed for like an hour, like, okay, my ears actually kind of hurt. This-
yeah.
Well, and
It's
like
not
I think it's kind of almost bewildering, because I was like this for so long too. Is like everyone's like musicians, and like music's like their passion and everything like that. And what's like the one thing they don't take care
Right.
of?
Their
Yeah.
ears.
Your ears.
Totally.
Like, are
Yeah.
you serious? Like this one thing that you use to experience your joy in life.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't need to protect it
It's
or
the one
anything
thing
like
I
that.
would like lose my mind if I ever lost.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
totally.
you sit there, you leave a show, and you can feel your pulse in your ear, and you're just like, "Oh, it's a good show." What?
That's like
Good what?
Yeah. It's unhealthy. Unhealthy for sure.
I'm like, I have multiple pairs of earplugs I bought off, like good earplugs I bought off Amazon that I keep in my car and in my backpack. And anytime I go to a show, even if it's not that loud, I still put them in. It's like,
Probably a good idea.
At that last show, I just walked. I had because I got some of those like actual design for music or live music earbud or earplugs. I just kept them in because if you're talking to someone, you can still hear everything.
Yeah.
But it almost cuts out the frequencies that hurt.
Yeah.
Whenever real loud stuff's playing.
I recommend those so much, like, because you can go on Amazon and just look up, like earplugs, and it'll be the first few results. But the music doesn't really sound any differently. I mean, like slightly different,
can
but most
clear
people
it
wouldn't.
up a little
But
bit.
Yeah, I think
and
so,
it
too.
just sounds quieter. Like it sounds the same, just quieter.
Yeah.
And it's like you just don't feel awful the next day.
it's not
Yeah.
damaging.
I've been buying like I bought even just like the $12 pair of like Heroes.
That's what I
Yeah.
got.
And they're like little spiral looking
stems.
things.
Yeah.
And you can like almost choose how far you want them in.
Yeah, there's 3 little bumps
Yeah.
to stick in.
Yeah, and like I'll just kind of like lightly put them in my ears during practice, and I can still hear everything. I can hear. It just cuts out the like harsh
Yeah,
frequencies.
they've
almost.
gotten really good with designing them now, so that there's the frequency response is the same with them in.
Yeah, where you can still like nothing. It's not like muffled like you're plugging your ears. It's still
Yeah.
like clear, but not like like setting your ears on fire.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have ringing in your ears immediately.
Right. So tell me a little bit about your guys' like songwriting, like the creative process. Is that pretty much you, Jared, or is it everybody?
Yeah,
or?
but it's kind of starting to evolve a little bit. Like the way I've kind of always written songs, and I know a bunch of people like this too, is when I start on something, it just all just like falls out. Like I sit in a chair, and if I have a riff, like the whole kind of song comes out and everything like that. You know, I might have to come back and work on like a certain section of it or figure out lyrics or whatever.
I'm the opposite. It's like I have a riff and then months go by and I don't touch it.
I have a million half songs though because I won't go back.
Yeah,
like
it's got to all be in one sit.
Yeah, I'll try sometimes to go back to a song that maybe I didn't finish, and it's rare. Maybe like 1 out of 10 of those that I try to go back to ever do anything.
It's normally like you'll write another riff and you're like,
I want to start something
fit in
on
with that or something.
Yeah,
like,
It more happens by accident if you go back to an old song. Yeah. So anyway, basically, I have my own little like home studio-ish setup where I can get demo quality songs made. And then send those to the band, and I'll sit down with Jimmy and go over some guitar stuff. Sit down with Skylar, go over bass stuff, and I'll write out drum parts on Superior Drummer on the MIDI map and all that. And I was fortunate enough to grow up around a drummer and other drummers and everything like that. So while myself, by no means am I a good drummer, I'm not, but I understand like ergonomically how it works.
That
like
people don't have more than 4
17
limbs.
cymbals at the same time. We've all heard guitarists program drums,
right?
And
you can tell.
So like I'll have an idea of like what the drums should be doing more or less. And what it initially is the other guitar player, I'd show the guitar part to, and they'd play it. And when Skylar was coming in, I'd show like the really basic bass line, and then he'd kind of grow into the full bass line, and then with Alec on the drums. And now we've lived together before. We've talked about music and been involved with stuff like that for a long time. So he knows like when I make a drum part, what I'm going for, and he can make it into a part that sounds like a drummer that part, would play it. But like a little bit more elegant version of it and stuff, and a little bit of something. But
because there's always different sticking things.
Yeah.
But like
what's your process whenever you get the drums?
Well, real quick, like that's how it started,
right?
And what's been kind of cool about it is that's still how songs start. But now, Jimmy coming into the band, it just has a way of speaking on a guitar that I don't. And so there will be parts in songs now that it's just like, Jimmy, do Jimmy, totally. Jimmy out on this part a little bit. And, he has a great ear for being able to like, okay, this part works. And, he'll ask like, well, like, what do you think, like tone wise, maybe it would be good here or whatnot.
Yeah.
And so
I try not to deviate too much from what your original idea is.
There's a few factors in play, because like one is just trust, where if you have somebody we met online.
Luckily we've played together for
that's where a lot of that comes
we have that
from. You're right.
Trust,
that's a good point.
and where it's like, well, if we know Jimmy's doing a guitar part, we're not worried about it being like sloppy or awful. Whereas if someone we met online, like we don't
maybe doesn't have the same vibe.
Yeah, we don't have the history.
Right. Yeah,
and then it's I think another part is the maturity thing, where it's what's best for the song. We're not in high school. We don't have anything to prove.
That's our rule. Like, because like I said, like when I write the song, everyone in the band considers that the first draft.
Right.
Like when I write that, I don't have the ego to say that this is like the
concrete.
This is
it's just how I write most efficiently.
But if it works, it works. And like with half the drum parts, I mean, because I have another band and I'm like trying to do the social media and stuff. And if he writes a part that works, like good, then I don't have to write anything. That's less I have to think about. Like, if it works, and then I can just play that. And I don't have to worry about trying to write a part because it's
right. Yeah. Well, and Skylar's kind of growing into that writing process too. Skylar actually,
for
background
him,
on him.
New. For him,
he played bass a couple years back. Just like picked it up and joined like this like really heavy and fast band, metal band called Abjure, and gigged around with them for a bit and everything. And then he left that band or what have you. and he didn't play for like a year or 2 years or something like that. And when we had to find a new bass player, I was sitting there looking through through my phone. I was like, I'm missing somebody. We got to find a bass player. Because it was funny, because that was right after we launched. We were down a guitar player and a bassist, and had a show booked. And so we were like, oh boy,
Yeah.
And at that time I hadn't hung out with Skylar for like a year, and we were all
Quick
close.
backstory on him, like he's I guess his main musical instrument, you could say, is vocals. He's always
just
been
a killer metal vocalist.
yeah. He's been in a lot of the bands that you've started in the past that we've all been a part of, and like he's been the vocal guy or the main vocals, but now he's switched over to a stringed instrument, so it's a new genre for him.
Side note, that's how Jared and I lived together at the exact same time. We were both like, killer metal vocals.
Killer.
The thing that was so cool, because like a lot of metal vocalists are like pretty one-dimensional in what they do, or they just kind of just slap screams on top of stuff. Skylar was always really musically inclined.
Totally.
He would do vocal parts that served the song in a really good way. So when he kind of went
Shout
over
out to
to a
Withermoth.
bass, he's doing Withermoth stuff. That stuff's going to be awesome.
I'm not into that like super heavy metal stuff like that very much, but even I was like, damn.
We've heard like the pre-production stuff on it, and it's awesome.
Cool. Also, shout out to Gabe Pry. I haven't actually met you, but your stuff is really good.
Yeah. So anyway, Skylar hopped on the bass and everything, and when he first joined up with us, like I said, he hadn't played in like a year or something like that. And so we started out real simple and everything, and then he kind of got his chops back a bit. And now he's starting to, like, I'll kind of show him the structure of different riffs and stuff like that. And he'll think a little run ideas on the bass. Take the bass out for a walk.
Yeah, make it a bass line.
And he'll bring it up. He'll be like, hey, man, I was thinking about doing this. And, like, a lot of the times, it's a cool part. And I'm like, yeah, do it. Like, heck yeah,
Thank you, yes.
So what's been cool about it, like, or to go all the way back around to the original point there, is, like, this music and band and stuff started very, very much like what I was making in my bedroom, and slowly but surely, like, it's kind of growing a bit to where we're getting multiple perspectives and ideas thrown in on top of that.
Yeah.
Which
so
I think at least
comes with time and maturity.
I think for the like foreseeable future, like it's. I think I'm still going to be the one mostly, like, making the main songs and stuff like that, but it's like the further down the rabbit hole we go is going to have more impressions on it by the different musicians in the band, and it just makes everything better.
Yeah.
Because
there's kind of like different phases where, as much as like Jared and I grew up on Tool and that whole everybody's completely equal and everybody contributes. Like, when you're starting a band, I mean, your priority is, one, like, can you even get 4 people in a room together consistently?
Can they all play in time together?
Let alone everybody contributing to writing. Your goal is just to get 4 people in a room together.
Right.
If you can have one person like knock out the writing and it's good, then that's it. That just knocks that out, and that's something you don't have to worry about. Because your priorities at that point are just like, we have to have a recording, we have to like be online, we have to be able to book a show, let alone like promote it. Like, you have so many other priorities that
then you need
you have to build. And then if you can have somebody who's like, the songs are done, they're written, here they are. That's it. It makes a band, at least starting out in phase 1, like so much easier.
And what
phase 1? I like phase talk.
Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Don't worry about phase 2. That's another podcast.
A hint. No, but like part of why it worked this way, especially, is because, I mean, you guys have known me for a while, but how I write is typically in spurts. Like, I'll just, over the course of maybe 2 weeks, have 3, 4, 5 whole brand new songs. Be like, hey guys, I have a whole new like EP. Let's do this now. And like the EP that we have released and all that.
Where can people find that, by the way?
Everywhere.
Oh, we have
Bandcamp.
business cards.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
Al, you have the list memorized better than I do.
Well, we use DistroKid, so it's on. I mean, it's on YouTube, Bandcamp, Facebook, Spotify, iTunes. Apple
I did not know
Music,
it was on Spotify. That's good to
Amazon.
know.
Yeah, no, it's on everything, and a lot of places I still aren't sure are real things like
Yeah.
Deezer and
Yeah, that a lot of stuff's bullshit.
More than anything, what I would suggest is if you are interested in that, to just go to Bandcamp, download the thing.
Right.
It's
Pay- is it
free.
pay what you
yeah,
want?
it's name your price, but I don't care. We don't care about it actually
Right.
making
Well,
money on it.
I
but-
say whatever you normally listen to music on, because I know everyone's different. You have
Yeah.
Spotify or Amazon or
I'm
iTunes.
biased. I really
Apple.
like Bandcamp. So.
But
That's fair.
whatever you listen to music on, it's there.
Cool.
At Impart Band,
yeah, it's just Impart Band. Everything.
Isolation, Guidance, Martyrs.
Cool.
Names of the songs,
Yeah.
if that helps.
Cool.
Yeah, so yeah, that's kind of the writing thing in general. Is this started out with me just kind of pumping stuff out on one of my, we'll call it a song bender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A creative
And
expulsion.
it's been really exciting though, because it's started to kind of grow a bit.
Yeah.
Creatively with everybody, and that's something every band wants that. They want like that
Get
full
the input, yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool that like we kind of start to take a direction like that, to where you're not just hearing what I'm doing in my bedroom. You hear
Right.
Jimmy's guitar.
Totally.
You hear Alec.
His-
banging the bongos. And you hear
Busting a gut.
actually one of my favorite things about watching Skylar play is like I said, he hasn't been playing long, but he's taken to it so well.
Right.
And he really does a good job.
It doesn't seem
But-
like he's only been playing for
No,
as long as he
no.
has.
And
He's one of the best
but
bass players I've played with
the
in a while.
the one tell that he has, and if you guys haven't noticed, look for it. When he plays a run that he wrote and he stuck it, he just gets this big, just ear to ear.
Oh, I look over and I catch him every time.
He just makes
Yeah.
a little run. It's
He's just-
like a puppy that peed outside. It's just
That's awesome.
it's I love it too.
And he'll tell me
it's-
out. He's like, dude, I think we caught eyes. Did you
Yeah.
see? I'm like, oh, I did, buddy.
Right. That sounds.
Yeah.
Your guys' writing process is really similar to Spellbooks.
Yeah.
That was kind of I played your role, Jared.
Yeah.
Like,
We more so jam it out.
yeah. Yeah.
In like weird benders of like, all right, we're just not going to stop playing for like 20 to 30 minutes and
Yeah.
see what happens after.
Yeah. Well, like Alex, the drummer. I always tell him like, dude, I'm not a drummer.
Weird.
Like
we have Alex.
and Alec. Yeah, as drummers. But I wrote the track, and a lot of the tracks I wrote before I even like.
Well,
knew.
didn't they kind of start? And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they kind of start as like acoustic song kind of a thing? And
Yeah,
grew from there?
yeah, sort of. It was like, this is me. This is Daniel Hinkle. And then I showed it to
Dinkle.
Yeah, I showed it to Daniel Evans and Alex Tunks when I worked with them, and I was just showing it to them, and they were like, "Do you want to play this?" And I'm like,
We should start a band.
I'm like, really? I was like, how? And they're like, I don't know, we'll just do it. And then we got together at the practice space, and like, they already knew the song somehow just from listening to it, and like we just fucking played it. And then we brought Jimmy in, and Jimmy like
Jimmy'd all over it.
dude,
Yeah.
he's got something. Like it was just like a couple parts was like, hey, we need a lead right here. And then Jimmy puts his fluttery like.
And it's something
Sounds
you
like
would never
angel
think
wings.
of.
Yeah.
It's something you would never
Yeah.
think of a part like that. And Jimmy, don't blush.
No,
over
I'm
there.
telling you, the
Yeah.
trick is you spend a lot of money on some pedals, buddy.
Well, that's too.
that you gotta
Yeah,
use.
you're right. Maybe I'm actually an awesome lead guitar player.
You just don't have the right
enough
gear.
You don't have the pedals.
Yeah, you haven't
I'm
spent.
going the wrong direction. I'm
For
getting
For the
rid of
record,
my
it's all
amps.
it is.
so one of our songs is Isolation, and Jimmy did the best solo.
Dude, he does it.
like the
man.
first time we did
Oh,
the
and
practice,
hey,
we all like.
to clarify, the solo that Jimmy does is not on the EP.
So you have to see us live,
yeah,
even if you show up for that one song. Whatever.
Jimmy, don't mess that solo
I was
up.
gonna say that's a
pressure.
hard. That's a hard draw because there's a 50-50 shot. I might just play it all on like
There's enough
a
going on in
different
the solo.
key or
What?
something. You know,
That's fine.
fuck it.
I recorded
Yeah.
it. We can backtrack that, right?
Yeah.
Can you guys actually just do that?
No, we have a song called "The Wings of Birds," and
Yes.
it's like it's super, like the initial recording I have of it, like my demo is like so flat and dead, and then Jimmy has this like
it's like
blows my
it's like an
fucking mind.
80s like weird,
almost 80s like poppy kind of,
not really like it's in the same
even-
fashion of like it's just kind of over the top, like stupidly.
I think it's delicious.
No, it's fun to play every time because it's like it's like a weird wow, what was that guy, the fucking,
It's like a
I can
Mr.
feel
Big
it.
solo.
Yeah, it's like it's like this is now the guitar solo part.
Yeah,
Like it's
guitar solo.
clearly
Yeah,
a
It's
guitar
like clearly
solo
like
part.
this is the part that we're doing right now.
Yeah. But
It's not
awesome.
subtle at all.
No, it's like
It's not supposed to be.
It's like, hey, look at this guy that we got to play with us.
Yeah.
But
Check this
that was
out.
Like, when we had Jimmy that practice and he busted out that solo for the first time,
We just giggled.
I
we
shit my
almost
pants.
stopped the song
Oh,
going,
no,
oh
please
my
don't fuck
god,
this
what
up."
was that?
This is just like spellbook practice, man. Totally. That
Jimmy
sounds just
plays
like-
something, everybody wets their pants.
Yeah. I think you actually wrote that while we were recording. We recorded 2 singles, and we're like, I think we should put a lead right here. And Jimmy just starts like ripping, like the first try, like ripping some shit.
We're gonna get him to leave. We're
Ripping
gonna
some
keep,
shit.
we're gonna keep on talking about it and everything.
You can't see him blushing on the
gotta
lights.
go.
Guys, I gotta go.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. No, it's funny, Dan, that like you and I both like have that, like we have our Jimmy and it's the same Jimmy.
Yeah.
And it makes us happy.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, it's ours is pretty similar. It's me, and it started out as some depressed winter EP kind of thing, and everyone kind of brought it to life. And I think here pretty soon we're gonna start kind of like, sounds like how you guys are doing, making it more of like a collaboration kind of a,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Like Dan's writing some cool stuff.
Dan's writing some cool
Yeah.
shit. He's got some. We're kind of gonna go for a darker vibe.
Cool.
You know,
I always like that.
Yeah, it's
kind
the
of
same.
spooky. We sing a lot about like
Spooky
satanic worship, which we don't
trees.
practice, but it's fun to sing about.
Yeah.
But
It's like all the Minute songs are like super apocalyptic and
Yeah.
like,
It's almost
love it.
storytelling at
Yeah.
that point, you know, and that's a whole nother bag. That's why actually, and granted, I didn't have the same love for them that some of my friends did, but that's something I always appreciated about Coheed.
Right.
Yeah,
like
the
that whole,
storytelling.
I went through
Apollo
a
thing.
Coheed
Yeah.
phase.
Yeah, like who doesn't know Welcome Home, you know?
yeah, it's like
Or, you know,
killer songs.
just in, you know, what's his name?
Claudio Sanchez.
Yeah, and all his woe-ohs and everything. Like, everybody knows the Claudio woe-oh.
Yeah.
Like-
Well, he had like a whole comic book that went along with
yeah,
that, right?
yeah, it was a
Like,
whole story and everything.
That was like concept album taken
Yeah,
to
I
the
think they
next
just had a
level.
new
like
album
4.
drop
Yeah.
recently.
Did they
actually.
really?
Yeah, no, I heard a single or two off it.
Yeah.
It was killer.
Yeah, I straight up spellbook. I want people to, like, if you charge crystals in the moonlight, you'll like spellbook.
Yeah, I for sure want you to go and like spread some straw into a pentagram in the forest. And do some Wiccan stuff. I
Yeah.
don't know.
What was that devil song you released? It was a while back.
Oh, that was like my.
That's
old,
oh my god, that song was cool.
Thanks, man. Whispering Witch was the name of
Oh.
the project.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was the song was called "Let That Damn Devil In."
That damn.
And it was, yeah,
I remember
it was
getting a lot
weird.
of.
I still
if
think
I'm-
about that song from time to time. Like, damn,
Tight.
Yeah, well, I remember getting like a lot of like kind of like Pussifer kind of
Yeah,
Yeah.
vibes from it.
I was going with that, trying to find that Indigo Children
that
vibe,
vibe.
tribal like
Yeah.
shit.
that, I
That's
love
actually
voodoo
that's been
stuff.
Pussifer stuff.
speaking of like drawing comparisons and stuff. That's been one of the fun parts about Impart is like the different comparisons or whatever.
You guys
that
sound
people
like
get.
this or that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
the
cool.
range in it has been really cool, and you know, like I think the last show, the 3 were Chevelle, Deftones, and Tool.
Right. Which we're
I
like,
think those
okay,
were the,
fair
like,
enough.
It's like I like all of those bands. Like
Yeah.
that's cool. I mean, one of the bands I don't like all of their stuff. Yeah, Chevelle's new stuff has not been. My
No,
favorite.
yeah, I
haven't
completely
listened to it.
agree.
Yeah, their first like 4 albums.
I can listen to that.
It was the Vein of Sarah album or whatever. Like that was the one that was kind of like the tipping point for me.
I liked
It's
a
like-
few off of that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was like Killswitch Engage, the
Same
one
thing.
after As Daylight Dies. I think they put out another self-titled album. I was just like, dang.
You
Yeah.
lost it.
You know,
Yeah.
but anywho, no, and they specified too last night. They're like older Chevelle. I was like, oh, thank God. You know?
Yeah, cool.
But I mean, there's been that. There's been Carnival, I think, which I haven't heard
Carnival?
that yet. No, I love Carnival.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I haven't heard it in our stuff as
Yeah.
much.
Like
But
influence
it-
from it.
I see it.
Yeah.
I feel like we're on to something, right? When everybody you talk to gives you a different comparison.
Yeah,
'Cause that-
it's fun.
And they're all bands that you like.
It's not like you
Yeah.
sound like a ripoff or something.
Yeah.
That-
So you
that's-
guys listen to a lot of 3 Days Grace? Or,
Yeah.
It's like, I hate everything about you.
It's almost good and bad too, because when you're marketing your music, you kind of want to like compare it to somebody. So
Right.
like
For fans of, yeah.
yeah, so
catch-22
that
kinda,
somebody's
yeah.
like, I don't know if I'm listening to country or rap or rock. Like,
Yeah,
right.
what
you
is
have to have
it?
like some sort of general direction.
Give me a jumping
But-
off start.
Because because I've heard so many different comparisons for Impart, and the same with many, like when Justin was,
Yeah.
who's our kind of being our producer and engineer for this, he was like, I don't even know what to use as a reference track. 'cause
Yeah.
you don't sound like
Yeah.
I'm not sure what to do.
Yeah, it's tough.
And
It's-
then you're
yeah.
trying to market it. We sound like
yeah, it's tough.
I actually don't
Yeah.
know. This is kind of weird.
But I'd rather have that
Yeah,
problem
it's a
than
good
being
problem.
oh
like,
yeah.
like we are a clone of this.
Right.
But
No,
then
like-
it takes you longer to find your audience, which isn't a bad thing. But it's
No.
just you're like, I'm not sure who exactly. I know someone would want to listen to this.
Yeah. Who do I aim at? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think if you combine you have your few favorite bands or whatever, and you're probably gonna like naturally gonna
Right.
combine them. Because I kind of do that too. Is like
That's all that music is.
it's
like,
art is just
Yeah.
like kind of combining things that you like.
right.
And
It's like one of the first things that people ask musicians. It's like, who are your influences?
Yeah.
That's
Right.
like just like a straight
That's,
from the
yeah.
hip shot.
yeah,
You know.
That's
Yeah,
a good
if we were to-
icebreaker anytime like I meet a new coworker.
Yeah.
They're like, oh,
I always throw.
who do you
or-
listen to, bro?
People look at me weird though, because like my three growing up were Incubus, Tool, and Dream Theater.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like
pretty.
this,
A
like-
wide spread.
It's like a triangle. You like there's
Yeah.
no like.
It's your basic
there's
food
like
groups.
A, B,
Yeah.
C. Yeah, that's a good way. But it's like I got dairy, like kind of like
right.
yeah.
That's yeah. I mean, like I literally take like 3 of my favorite artists and like try to
see if they mesh.
like mesh them together, and then that's like my sound basically. You know what
That's
I mean?
what
Like
I've heard a lot of big like either musicians or
Yeah.
like teachers. They're always like, steal it,
yeah,
steal it, make it your own.
yeah, yeah.
Like, they're,
Speaking of
they're
that,
like
when
seriously,
I
just
was-
rip it off.
Yeah. When I was in college, and I guess for anybody that doesn't know, I teach for a living. When I was in college, I had a professor, and she was just like my light. Like this lady, like inspired me to like yes, I want to teach.
Right.
Well, she like got like really quiet one time during class and everything. She's like, all right, guys, do you know what what
Here's a
all
pro tip for
great teachers do? And us all being like young students, are like they prepare, they're responsible, they're knowledgeable about content. She's like, nope.
Wrong, idiot,
And-
stupid.
Yeah. And she goes, they steal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? It's like everything.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so right. And that I was a thief my first year
Right.
teaching. It's how I survived.
You fake it till you make
But
it.
you steal in the right way, because like
You steal the good stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, because there's
No one's listening right now at this point. Everyone's like,
my
"You guys are
biggest
phonies."
fear is like there's tons of good bands in KC, but you're like, seem like they're pretty good, but there's nothing like that original about them. Like there's kind of the same general sound like in the alternative scene among a lot of bands.
Sure.
And like nobody really sticks out like a sore thumb, and that's like everybody, because Greta Van Fleet was supposed to headline Middle of the Map, and I think their drummer broke their wrist.
Oh,
like,
is that the one that they're basically Led Zeppelin?
Yeah, and everyone's like, they sound like Led Zeppelin. And I looked them up, and I used to be obsessed with Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Like, obsessed. And it's like, no, they don't sound like they were doing literally exactly
Right.
like the singer stands in the exact same pose as like Robert Plant.
I
Like,
thought you were
sing-
going the whole opposite direction. Like they sound nothing like.
No, they're
they sound like
super
like a
Led
carbon
let the
copy.
lead out.
And people are like, this is so cool. But if you did that with any other band, they'd be like, no, they're copying off them exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when you have any female-fronted like rock band now. Who do they get compared to?
Oh, Hailstorm.
Paramore.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
yeah, it's
no.
Paramore. Like,
Rock band.
Sexist.
well, I mean,
Oh, okay. Yeah, that gets you. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but no, that drives me crazy too. But anyway,
It
go
just
ahead.
it bumps me out when because your music should be a combination of all your influences, but you shouldn't like literally copy one band,
Right, yeah.
or I guess I mean we're picky about music, but we listen to a
Yeah.
lot of different types. And
You,
like,
it's one of those things you just know it when you hear it. It's
Yeah.
hard to describe it perfectly, but when you hear something and you're like, you know instantly if that's a ripoff or if that's
Yeah.
like,
Inspired
oh, that's
by.
their.
And that-
I can tell they listen to this
Yeah.
a lot.
That's why I've
there's-
always been a big fan of original band. Like, I mean, because Tool, where, like, literally, Tool doesn't sound like anyone else. Like, you play a Tool song, it's immediately
Yeah,
it's a Tool
you
song.
know
And people
it's-
have tried to
yeah.
copy them, but they still don't sound like Tool.
Yeah.
Or like Porcupine Tree. Like, literally, no one sounds like Porcupine Tree.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
Like, you put on a Porcupine Tree song, you're like, yeah, that's
Well, I
Steve
think
Wilson.
I think the distinction you hear artists fall into this a bit is like there's a huge difference between having an influence and having a template.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Real cookie
because
cutter.
like
yeah.
when going back to Paramore, like when they launched and everything like that, and they hit it big. Like, how many bands like that popped up? You know, I mean, a lot, and
Yeah.
you can't name any of them because they
It's all
tried
blur.
to do
Yeah.
Paramore.
They're not
you know?
Paramore.
But I mean, you go to YouTube and type in like bands that sound like old Paramore, and
playlists will
you
pull
could
up.
die before you would make it through all that.
Oh yeah, because I mean the people who steal things, well, everybody kind of like takes things from other music, but the people who do it right take things from places you wouldn't expect.
Right.
Right.
Like I mean, because
It's not like a main riff of a popular song. Where
Yeah.
like, let's
Yeah.
just change a note. You know.
no, but they I mean like it's a heavy metal song and they take like kind of a weird jazz thing because
Yeah.
they listen to all types of music and they take like weird jazz fill or use some like kind of triplet pattern in like a metal song and it's like influence from jazz but in the context of a metal song like you can't tell.
Right.
Right.
And it's like, but that's how people like kind of steal things and make it their own.
That's how you get new
Because
new
it's used in
genres and stuff.
completely
Yeah.
different contexts and it sounds completely different, but it's the
Yeah.
same concept.
Yeah, I
it.
think I kind of more than anything try to like if I'm listening to a song and it gives me like a certain feeling,
Yeah.
I try to mimic the feeling more than anything. 'Cause
Yeah.
if it's something I identify with,
It's like back to your tentative new album that you're like. That's
Yeah.
kind of the
It's all
whole
moods.
idea.
Yeah, it's just
What's fun,
moods.
like I feel like I respond a bit similarly to that. Only I do it with like a guitar riff. Like I'll riff around and then I'll play a riff and I'll start building a song. And when I'm writing the vocals, I start just like singing lines and stuff. And I a lot of times I have no idea what I'm singing about until I'm about halfway done writing the song, and then it just kind of like ding. It's like, oh, this is what whatever I was talking about was trying to say.
That's what it is.
Like,
Yeah.
here it is.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, yeah.
You're
So-
more of a like free flow writing technique, or
I'm a
like
rapper, yeah.
or a yeah. I've heard your flow. No,
yeah,
you're more of like a stream
Flow.
of consciousness.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
kind of work,
Yeah.
just kind of like on guidance, the chorus, that give in to me thing. I had no clue.
It doesn't
That
necessarily
was-
mean something when
yeah.
you're writing it, and then you can find a
Yeah,
meaning
well,
for it.
it's like a lot of the choruses are kind of written like that, and then it's like the story to that is written through the verses and the bridge.
right.
That makes
You know?
sense. Yeah.
Like Martyrs is that same way, that like Steal Yourself for One Moment, or you know, all that kind of stuff. Like that whole chorus got written out, and I was like, okay. And then that's when all those verses came in, that, you know, like Hey You, like Little Martyr, and
Yeah.
everything like that kind of just
Anytime I
fell in.
will sit down and just write something, that's usually how that happens. It's like, all right, something will just
Start
pop in your head,
stringing
like
words
yeah, it's
together.
just like
Yeah.
a stream of conscious, and then you can go back and move stuff around. Like, oh, okay, that
Yeah.
could be a thing. You know,
Yeah.
that's a nugget.
Well, what I found that I do a lot, if I haven't already like started slapping vocals on, is like I'll write what I think is the first verse, and then I look at it and I'm like, that's the chorus.
Yeah,
You know, it's like, this is exactly what I'm trying to say. This is my big main point. I need to elaborate on this.
Right.
So, you know, you take that big main point, slap it in the chorus, and then you tell your story elsewhere, kind of a thing.
Right. Mine is always, when I'm writing lyrics, like for Spellbook or something, it's always like visually induced.
Yeah,
It's like I'm trying to paint like a
mental image.
Yeah,
Yeah,
lyrics,
it's imagery. Yeah,
lyrics always come last for me, so it's like the music kind of makes this space that may or may not be like a real place, and then the lyrics kind of try to like.
I like that. That
describe
kind
it.
of explains all all of your music now
Everything
makes
I've
a little
ever
more
heard.
sense to me
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, it's
in
just
a way.
it's just like it's a
scene.
It's a scene.
Yeah,
Exactly. It's just like a very visual, like
kind of an emotional scene, because I mean that's I think that's why like I connected with that Devil song, because there's just like an emotion, and it seems like that was first and foremost, and then you found ways to express it, but you had an emotion in mind, and
like the stories
that
kind
was
of-
conveyed.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like that story's kind of like ancillary or something,
Yeah.
and it's really just that emotion that gets across through there. Yeah,
Like you might not even speak the language. And
But that's how
you
people
still get
connect
it,
to it, and
you
that's
know?
I mean I think that's what good music should be, and that's why good music is successful, is because like people emotionally connect to it, and
Absolutely.
whether you're singing it live or listening to it, they have to like develop some sort of emotional attachment.
Sure.
Otherwise, they're not going to keep coming back.
Right. Let's wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
I want you guys to tell us real quick before we go.
plug it.
Upcoming shows. The
Yeah.
big one with Light the Torch. Give us some dates and
well,
stuff.
we got
July 23rd.
July 23rd is Light the Torch. That one we're all really pumped for that one. It's gonna
Yeah.
be cool.
That's how our
Childhood
band. Yeah.
dream come true.
Yeah,
Right.
A lot of us.
Our actual next one is at the Mini Bar on July 13th. We're playing with Tandem and the UKs. That one would be cool. It's like just those three bands. We got it for a $5 cover. It's
Yeah.
at the Mini Bar.
That'll be the Light the Torch night's probably going to be pretty crazy. It's going to be a great show to come to.
Yeah.
But the mini bar show is just going to be a fun show to just like hang out.
More
yeah,
relaxed,
Yeah,
Yeah, just,
So
it's
come
a
check it out.
chill. It's called the Basement Upstairs. And I feel like that's an accurate name.
Hey,
Yes.
They have like
The
couches and
basement
stuff.
upstairs.
Yeah, have you guys been to the Mini Bar?
Nope.
All right. Well,
I need to get out more, man. Honestly, I'm not lying.
well, tag along with Jimbo to
Yeah.
the Mini Bar
Yeah.
show.
I need to.
We'll get you on. Like put you on the guest list.
Or we'll just start
My
booking.
man.
No, I got it. We're just gonna start booking Spellbook everywhere we go, just to drag
Yeah.
them along.
They
No,
didn't have
but-
to come.
All right, so we have July 13th Mini Bar, July 23rd at the Aftershock. That's
Yeah.
where the Light the Torch show is at.
If
and then
people want tickets, they can hit you up.
yeah.
Okay.
So the Mini Bar show is just door.
Yeah.
Come with $5 at the door. The Aftershock show with Light the Torch, we have tickets available for $13, and those spike, I think, pretty high at the door.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely
so-
hit us up beforehand.
Yeah, what's cool about that is like it works twofold. With a little bit of transparency here, the tickets are cheaper if you buy them from us before
Right.
the fact, and B, we actually get to take a little bit of a
Get
cut
that
from
money.
it.
Yeah.
So like it's like a lot of these shows and
Helping out.
everything, you're just paying promoters and all that.
Sure.
We actually get a bit of a return on it too.
Cool.
Just to like I said, some transparency for you.
Yeah.
Our next show after that's going to be at Davies Uptown, right? Yeah,
August
Davies
4th.
Uptown, August 4th with Tyrant Sun and Electro Possum.
Yep.
Is that how you say that?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're really cool. Those guys
yeah,
are awesome.
Yeah. And that one I think is going to be $6,
Yeah.
something like that.
Which Davies is always
again,
fun to
just
hang
having
out
a
with.
door.
Just don't buy
That'd be a
coffee
fun
that
party.
day and come see us.
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Boom.
It'd be a fun party.
Yeah, I think
EP's
that's what
online.
the show is.
What about do we have to get the Facebook and all that?
Impart Band, is that what it is?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
at
Impart Band on Facebook and Instagram,
Right.
Twitter, all that.
Yeah, and then see, Mene has July 14th at Davies. That should be a big show with L.A. Jones and the Monolithic from St. Louis. Those guys are really
Nice.
cool.
Hey,
Cool.
real quick, even though this won't be out before then, but tomorrow night we
Which
got
would be
Spellbook.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will be out Monday. This will be out Monday. So
We could still
last
drop
night,
it, though.
Spellbook played, and it was probably
Dude,
awful.
The best show ever.
And you
There's
missed
1,000
it.
people.
How dare you?
You
Dude,
missed out.
fucking time tanks and
All
just
the
travel
kegs
back
broke in
to
the
it,
bar,
bro.
and they
I
were
will-
giving everybody free beer because they couldn't stop the flow.
Right.
It was
I will
incredible.
never forgive you for missing that show unless you show up to the.
Yeah,
Life
if you
to
don't
Torch
come here
show.
tomorrow,
There you go.
then I'll forgive you.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys.
Shameless promotion.
You guys reminded me that I love podcasting, love hanging out with you guys.
Yeah,
This
no,
is
this
so much
great.
fun.
Yeah,
We
we had a
will,
good time. Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. We always tell people we will do it again, and we will. That's a promise. So thank you guys. Thank you, Jimmy. You were great.
Thanks, man. I feel like everyone's just giving me a lot of compliments.
Yeah.
It's really good.
You're always
She
great.
did,
So.
like,
Is that too many? Do you feel? Do we need to like insult?
Yeah, probably max it out at 3 tops.
Oh, yeah.
From now on.
I
Otherwise,
feel-
I'll just I'll be like, all right, you guys are pulling some something
We
on me
planned
now.
this.
I feel
Yeah.
weird if I don't get like personally insulted every 15 minutes.
Okay.
So like, wait,
I feel
Yeah,
like we're
fuck
at
you.
the
I'm
part of the
uncomfortable now.
podcast where like the bar would turn on the lights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, all right, guys. Like,
Yeah, we
I
gotta
gotta
go.
go home, but you can't stay here. So let's sign off.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Bye,
thanks, guys.
everybody.
Later.